The morning light on October 21st, 2025, cast a long shadow over the White House, and a day of intense activity was already underway for President Donald Trump. It was a day that would weave together global diplomacy, domestic controversy, significant policy shifts. The schedule was packed, world leaders and major announcements. Each event offered a snapshot of the administration's priorities. From tense exchanges in the Oval Office to dust rising from a historic renovation, the day was a whirlwind of action. It began with the arrival of a key ally, setting the stage for consequential moments that would ripple across continents. The first major event, a meeting with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. They gathered in the White House to discuss shared interests. The conversation centered on defense cooperation and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. These topics mattered deeply to both nations. Leaders aimed to strengthen bilateral ties. The formal White House setting underscored the seriousness of the agenda. Officials were present, ready to finalize agreements months in the making. The atmosphere was purposeful, focused on reinforcing a long-standing alliance. Then, an unexpected moment of tension. A journalist raised past social media comments by Australia's ambassador to the US, Kevin Rudd. The comments had criticized President Trump. In a blunt exchange,
"I don't like you either."
the room fell silent. A stark, personal confrontation in a high-level meeting. The remark momentarily overshadowed official business and put the Australian delegation in a difficult spot. The awkward moment resolved quickly. Ambassador Rudd, former Prime Minister, offered an apology for his past remarks. President Trump accepted it, and the meeting moved forward. The quick resolution was crucial, allowing both sides to return to their primary objective, finalizing a landmark agreement. The incident showed a trait of Trump's diplomatic style. Personal grievances can surface but be set aside to achieve larger goals. The focus shifted back to substance, leaving the brief exchange behind. With the personal tension diffused, President Trump and Prime Minister Albanese turned to the main purpose of their meeting. They sat down to sign a multi-billion-dollar agreement on critical minerals. This deal is designed to bolster America's access to rare earth elements, which are vital for modern technology. Smartphones, defense systems.
Prime Minister Albanese highlighted an $8.5 billion pipeline that we have ready to go.
The agreement represents a significant step for the United States to diversify its supply chains and reduce its reliance on China for these essential resources, a key objective of the administration's trade policy. The economic implications of the deal are substantial for both countries. For Australia, it opens up a massive new market and solidifies its role as a key supplier to the United States.
Australian Treasurer Jim Chalmers noted the framework would help Australia become a world leader in the export of rare earths.
For the U.S., it secures a more reliable source of materials needed for high-tech manufacturing national security. The agreement also includes commitments for Australian superannuation funds to increase their investments in the United States, further intertwining the two economies and strengthening their financial partnership for the long term. While one deal was being signed, another major international development was unfolding. European leaders issued a joint statement. Britain, France, Germany, Italy. They announced their strong support for President Trump's position on the conflict in Ukraine. The statement called for an immediate stop to the fighting. It proposed that the current line of contact should serve as the starting point for negotiations. This unified message from key European allies marked a significant diplomatic victory for the White House, aligning Europe with its push for a swift end to the war. The support from Europe also included Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who co-signed the statement. This was a pivotal moment. It signaled a major shift in the international approach to the conflict. President Zelensky's agreement to this framework suggests a new willingness to pursue a negotiated settlement. A coalition of the willing meeting is scheduled for later in the week in London to define future military contributions. The joint declaration represents a coordinated effort to move from active conflict to a diplomatic process, though the path to a lasting peace remains fraught with challenges and uncertainty.